Good morning. And today we have Ephesians 4, 1 to 16. And it goes like this. As a prisoner for the Lord, then, I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling you have received. Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called to one hope when you were called, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and in all. But to each of us grace has been given as Christ apportioned it. This is why it says, when he ascended on high, he took many captives and gave gifts to his people. And what does he ascended mean? Except that he also descended to the lower earthly regions. He who descended is the very one who ascended higher than all the heavens in order to fill the whole universe. So Christ himself gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors, and the teachers to equip his people for works of service, so that the body of Christ may be built up until we all reach unity in the faith and in the knowledge of the Son of God and become mature, attaining to the whole measure of the fullness of Christ. Then we will no longer be infants, tossed back and forth by the waves and blown here and there by every wind of teaching and by the cunning and craftiness of people in their deceitful scheming. Instead, speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become, in every respect, the mature body of him who is the heart, that is, Christ. From him, the whole body, joined and held together by every supporting ligament, grows and builds itself up in love, as each part does its work. Again, there is so much in here. Paul packs so many ideas into a few paragraphs. So today, I think I want to concentrate on what I think is Paul's main theme, which is how to be a mature, grown-up Christian and have a firm faith that's not blown about on the waves. And I love that imagery. If you've ever been in a small boat in rough weather that's not going anywhere, you know how frightening and frustrating it can be. You never seem to make any progress, drifting one way then the other. And Paul, who was no stranger to shipwreck, was writing from experience here. But the answer to how to be a mature Christian wasn't the one I'd have thought it was be, because I'd have thought it'd be, study the scriptures, be well grounded in. But that's not what Paul says. He says being mature is all about being part of a church and being properly plugged into it, not on the margins. And this is not surprising when you think about it, because at the time of the writing, large parts of the New Testament probably have yet to be written. And the bits that have been written are probably scattered around the eastern half of the Roman Empire. They have the Jewish scriptures, but they only tell half the story. And the church has just started the process of re-examining what this material meant for the church, as opposed to what it meant if you were Jewish. So at this point in history, the teaching, being part of a church and receiving teaching from the church, is the only way to understand what faith, right faith and correct teaching was. And today, being part of a church remains key to growing into maturity as a Christian. This is where we learn, but it's not where we learn passively. It's where we can discuss and understand things and understand teaching better. Most importantly, it's where we can see being a Christian lived by other people and be a Christian in relationship with others. So we experience what it is to be a Christian and a mature Christian, rather than we're just sort of taught it. We're shown it as well. Now, clearly, unity as a church, being one body, is very important to Paul. And it makes me wonder, what does he mean by that? Does being united mean we ought to be absolutely uniform and agree on everything? And I hope not, because I think there is strength in diversity. I think it's more about being united while recognizing differences. Will Hepburn, who is very wise, once said to me that he thinks there's 3 categories of things he believes as a Christian. The things that you don't matter that much. Things like the sort of worship music you like, that really doesn't matter. Then there's the things he believes firmly and are important to him and informs how he lives his life. Stuff like his views on women in leadership or homosexuality. But he understands that other people have a different view on this. And that view is sincerely held for sound reasons, and he can work with these people. And then there's the red lines, the things you can't compromise on. And the red list, Will says for him, is pretty small. And the older he gets, the smaller he thinks it is. And it just covers the fundamentals. I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. And I think we as body gain from being theologically diverse within limits. I'm proud to be in the same church as Ian Brown. He's a man of great knowledge and wisdom, and I disagree with him on all sorts of theological issues. But these are not red lines. We'll never know for sure in this life. But he's probably right about some things, and I'm right on others, and we're both wrong on a whole lot more. But I think the debate strengthens both of us. Hearing different points of view, sincerely held from clever and wise people, makes you think and probably deepens your faith, even if you end up politely disagreeing. I think also we gain from having a diversity of skills. Preachers, prophets, evangelists are all the things Paul names. And we all have different strengths, and none of us can do everything well. And I think an important part of feeling properly part of the body is finding your place in the church, where you can serve in a way that fits your gifting. So, a question for you. Have you found your place? And are you serving in a way that suits your gifts? And that's all I have for you.